My name is Steven, and today we shall be considering how, as a trader, how do we get an entry point? How do we enter a trade from a different perspective? How do we take a trade? Now, if you are a trader, basically you must have an entry system. That should be the first thing that should be at your disposal. It's supposed to be one of your instruments that you must have to execute a successful trade. Now, let's take for instance from here. Let's see how the chart goes last week. Today is 26th of June 2022, and now let's look at how we execute our trade last week. How do we actually take our entry? What are those things that give us an entry? Now, if you look at this area, for you to enter a trade successfully, I am going to be using 1 minute chart as my entry point. These are what I use to enter my own trade. I'm using 1 minute chart. So because I'm a day trader and I don't have the luxuries of waiting to take a trade from a bigger time frame. I'm not saying taking a trade from a bigger time frame is not a good thing. It's a good thing if you know the techniques. But I take my trade from 1 minute chart, and that is what I've been using for over 20 years. I've developed on it, I've worked on it, and it's working perfectly for me. So without further ado, let's go into the trade and see how I take my trade. Now, this is 4 hours chart. This is 4 hours chart. I am using, I am using simple moving average to gauge my entry. To be able to get a perfect entry, I use simple moving average. Now let's go to the moving average. I want to plot the chart. This is my moving average of the simple. I'm plotting 240 moving average on the chart. This is 240 moving average. 240 moving average is what I'm plotting here, and this is how I look at the trade. I can change the color to anything I want. In this case, I'll be changing the color to black. So now this is how your chart should look like after you have plotted the 240 moving average on your chart. The prices should be resting on the 240 moving average. Now, this is why I consider 240 moving average, and I use it correctly. I use it in a perfect way for an entry. Is that most of the time, 99% of the time, prices are being repaired at the 240 moving average. Now, let's go on. Let's see how this works. Now, I want to take my trade from here. I just want us to look at this place very seriously. Now, we are taking our trade from here. Now, this is my entry because I must spot an engulfing pattern. For me to be able to enter a trade from 1 minute, I must spot an engulfing pattern. That is the first thing that I need to look for. Now, I need to look for an engulfing pattern in a bigger time frame. Now, here is a chart. Here is an engulfing pattern. This very line that I'm having here, this very candle, is an engulfing pattern. This candle engulf this area. It engulf this candle. So I'm having an engulfing pattern from here, which is here. So what do I need to look for? I've got the first confirmation in 4 hours that I am looking for an engulfing pattern, and now I've got the first confirmation in 4 hours. So I need to move down to a lower time frame to be able to confirm my entry. So I need to move down to 1 hour and see what actually is 1 hour chart doing. Now I'm moving down, I'm still moving down. So from here now, 1 hour is seriously moving down. So this is my line in 4 hours. Now, because it's 4 hours and we have 1 hour trade of 4 hours. So from here now, I'm having my 1 hour. This is my 1 hour. This is where I have an engulfing pattern from here. So this is the line that I drew the last time. So you fall around this place, and this is the candle that engulf around this side. So I have to draw another line for you to be able to confirm the move. So from here we have an engulfing pattern. So from here now, what we'll be looking for is for us to move down to another smaller time frame so that we can confirm the move adequately. So like I've told you, we don't use 1 minute alone to enter the trade. What we use now is we have to move down to more lower time frame. Now, because I'm moving to a more lower time frame, I am still confirming a very decent engulfing pattern from here. Look at it from here. This is a very decent one. It's moving from here. So from here, look at the move from here. So if I have to draw another line from here in 30 minutes, I'm having another challenges. Some challenges here. That is, so I want to see candle that will break down to this place. I'm seeing candle that will break down to this place. Now let's go back to 15 minutes. Our 15 minutes and see what is happening in 15 minutes, because our aim is to take a trade from a very shorter time frame. Now, what I'm after from all this, what I'm looking for is I am looking for my candle, that is my price, to fall below the 240 moving average or above the 240 moving average if I am going long. And if I'm going short, I am looking for a direction that will speak in favor of a bigger time frame from what I have from 4 hours. So from here now in 15 minutes, I have to take this up. Things has begin to look very pretty okay from here. So if I'm taking this place now, after this very area has moved up and they have challenged the 240 moving average, in which they are unable to break the 240 moving average, and what do we have? We have a decent run down. So in 15 minutes we have got an entry from here. This is an entry from here. This is what we have from here. This is breaking down, but this is not enough to generate a perfect entry, because I want us to enter this trade where there will be no noise. Immediately you enter, it start giving you money. Immediately you enter, you start having money, start having what to call you are in money immediately. That's what I'm looking for. So I am looking for an area that will weigh the noise out of the market. Now let me move further down to 5 minutes and see what is happening in 5 minutes. We are still moving down. We are still checking what is happening in 5 minutes. We are still checking what is happening in 5 minutes. We are still checking. We are still checking. Very good. In our 5 minutes, we also have we also have our prices to be below the moving average. Now, in 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, we no longer look for an engulfing pattern again. Once we have confirmed our engulfing pattern from a bigger time frame, what we need now from 4 hours, daily charts, 1 hour, what we need now is to move down to a lower time frame. And what are we looking for in a lower time frame? The first thing we are looking for in a lower time frame is that the prices should stay below or above the moving average, which is the 240 moving average. Now, to me, I've tested this 240 moving average for a very long time. I've been using 240 moving average for over 15 years, and I've discovered that most of the time, prices stall on 240 moving average, or prices are being repaired on 240 moving average. Now, let's move down to 1 minute, because we need to filter out the noise. What I'm telling you is that we need to remove the noise from our entry. If we want to enter a position, if we want to take a position, what we need now is to filter out the noise. And that's what I have done as much as possible. That's what I have made a lot of research on. Now I have to filter out the noise so that when I'm entering this position, I'm taking my position, immediately I am in money. Now I want to, we have to move down to 1 minute. Let's see how 1 minute is going. So let's see what is happening in 1 minute. So we are still moving down in 1 minute, so that I want to see the reaction of prices and want to filter out the noise in 1 minute so that we can get an accurate entry, and we can do what we can be rest assured that while we are entering this market, we are entering and having an accurate entry. So we are still moving down. We are still moving down in 1 minute to be able to see what actually 1 minute is saying, so that we can be able to filter out the noise from the market. So we're still moving. The chart is still moving. So let's hold on and see if we are able to get to that area that will give us a decent entry. Still very good. Now this is the line that we drew in. This is the line that we drew in 15 minutes. Now, because I have told you that my aim is to enter this trend and we got into money immediately, is to enter and begin to do what, and begin to have money immediately. Now let's take this off. Let me take this off. I think I have to shift this a little bit to the uptrend. Having the same challenges. Very good. Now, because we are interested in an entry that will give us money immediately, we are not interested in a trend that will challenge our psyche, that will challenge our brain. Now, if you look at this place now, I want to count back. I want to count back the candle before this crossing, and I want to place an horizontal line or a kind of segmentation and move down to a bigger time frame to see that how the noise is being filtered out. Now, from here to here, now from here to here is considered as noise. I want you to understand from here to here. Now let me draw a line for you to be able to get what I'm saying. From here is considered as noise. Here and even here is noise. And now, as a trader, what your responsibility is to filter out this area. Your responsibility is to filter out this very area. Now, how do you do this? The first thing is that after you have got an engulfing pattern, that all your parameters are in shape in a bigger time frame, that you see that the 4 hours has got an engulfing pattern, and in your 1 hour you also have an engulfing pattern, and you see that every parameter is coming down, but yet that does not mean this will not go up. I mean, that does not mean there will not be a change. There will not be a change of direction. But what you need to do is to do what? Is to cool down and move down to your 1 minute chart. And that's why I use 1 minute chart. I use 1 minute chart so that you will be able to filter out the noise from the market. Now, this place, let's assume that I enter my trade for 1 hour. If I should move down to 1 hour, you will realize that all this move is still fall under 1 hour. Now let's count back. Let's count back from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Good. The essence of counting this is for you to know that just a single candle of 1 hour is what is performing this, is what we have from here, and just the same candle of 1 hour is what we have here that is moving down. Now, how do you take this trade? You take this trade, number one, by allowing your prices to move below the 240 moving average in 1 minute. I repeat again, you take your trade by allowing the 240 moving average to move down. By allowing your prices to move down below the 240 moving average before you take your trade. Now, you never take a trade from a bigger time frame, because number one, if I've taken a trade from here, Now, I'm going to have all this noise. These are not trade. These are not trade that you can take. These are not an entry that you can take. Prevention, if you know how to trade, if you are an aggressive trader, then maybe probably your trend lines are lying around this place and you are seeing the prices are behaving funny. Then you can take your trade from here. You can take it from here. But to me, to be more conservative, to remove the noise from the market, I need to take my trade when prices are fairly below, and I consider this place as an area of noise. Now, because I don't have time, I don't have enough luxuries to begin to wait for all this, and the only time I have is to wait for what? Is to wait for this place to cross down. Look at when it crossed down. What do we have? We have immediately we have a run down. We begin to have what? We begin to fall into money. Now, take for example, the trade has been moving from here. Now let's move that to 1 hour. Let's move back to 1 hour. You will discover that this very vertical line will fall on a single candle. Now let's move back to 1 hour. Are you seeing that now? This is not the candle. Very good. These are the candles. Look at it. These are the candles that is forming this issue. So this very two candle, look at it from a one. This is the line that I drew in 1 minute. And look at what they are doing. This very area, look at what they are doing until the prices crosses below the 240 moving average, and that is where we have our entry in a shorter time frame. Now, immediately it crosses below the 240 moving average. What do we have? This is the move we have. Look at the move. It runs down very nicely. It runs down very nicely. This is what I've been using for many years, and it has been proving successful over time. It runs down very nicely. Once I've got this in my bigger time frame, you don't need anything for you to practice. Just take your time and practice this. You're going to be successful. Just let's go back to 1 minute again and see and draw a line. Let's go back to 1 minute and see what is happening in 1 minute. Let's draw a line to where the 240 moving average has crossed. Let's draw a line. These are very simple techniques. You don't need further problem. You don't have to give yourself any issue to be able to take a trade in a shorter time frame. But you must consider your bigger time frame to be able to have an entry. So we are still moving to see how we can have a better analysis in 1 minute. So I'm still moving down. I'm still moving. Very good. So this is our trade. Now, what I'm coming here to do is I want to draw a vertical line, so that I am going to trace that vertical line in 1 hour, for you to know that the same line is what we have from here. So if I'm moving this place now, these two lines is what I have identified in 1 hour previously. So I've been able to draw a vertical line to tell you what the move is all about from here. So if I immediately enter from here, look at it. It has never been down. It has never been up. It has never been up. The move has just been down. It has just been down. So this is to tell you that when you have an engulfing pattern in a bigger time frame, and you have your 240 moving average crossing in 1 minute, what do you look for? You look for an entry. Now, most of the time, what I do is this. Immediately I use this to enter. I will go back to 5 minutes to be able to watch my trade, to be able to see how my stochastic are behaving. At that point, immediately there is a cross. Now, let me move down to 1 hour first for you to see where we draw the trend line. Now, this is the trend line. This is 1 hour. The trend line that I drew, because it's 1 hour, I might not be able to see it very well. So this is the trend line. It's falling around this place. The trend line that I drew now is falling around this place. So this is how you take a trade in using 1 minute. You use 1 minute as an entry. Immediately you use 1 minute as your entry. What do you need to do? You still need to take cognizance of your 5 minutes immediately after you enter. Now let's see how I do use combination of 1 minute and 5 minutes to be able to gauge my entry, to be able to see if I'm still going to continue. So I'm still waiting. Let me get to that 1 minute for you to be able to know what I'm saying. So I'm still moving. 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 Very good. Now, this is my 1 minute. I want to draw a line. I want to draw a line on this 1 minute. Now, and go back to my 5 minutes. Now, because I want to be assured of the move. Why? Is the reason why I'm using 5 minutes most of the time to combine with 1 minute is this. Whenever 5 minutes stochastic is down, now let's go back here. Let's go back to 5 minutes and see how I am having every time. I always have a decent entry and exit. There's a very decent entry and exit. I don't have any issue with that. So now good. This is my 5 minutes. These are the line that I drew from here. Look at the 5 minutes. Immediately look at what this is where we have our entry. Look at the way it goes. Now look at where 5 minutes the prices are crossing the 240 moving average in 5 minutes. So from here to here we must have got a lot of entry. A lot of pips from here. So from here now, look at me. From here now, if I calculate, probably I've gotten 45 pips before 5 minutes confirm an entry for me. Now in a bigger time frame, I've got my entry. But before in a smaller time frame, I've got my entry. Now, how do I use 5 minutes? What is 5 minutes telling me to do for me to stay longer in that trade? Number one is this. Immediately the stochastic of my 5 minutes cross to the downside. Now this is the stochastic. This is my stochastic from here. Immediately this cross to the downside. And I'm looking for the prices. I'm looking for an engulfing pattern. Now there's no longer an engulfing pattern here in a shorter time frame. What you'll be looking for now, because the prices are below, they are below the 240 moving average. And see, this is where I've taken my entry. I've taken my entry from here for a very long time. This is where I've taken my entry. And the prices are what? The prices are below the 240 moving average. So what I'll be looking, because the prices are below the 240 moving average, I want to see the stochastic of my 5 minutes and 1 minute moving. How do they behave? If you look at this place now, from here now, the stochastic is down. Now for me to take an entry again, for me to continue down in that trade, I need to go back to 1 minute and see if the stochastic of 5 minutes and stochastic of 1 minute are speaking the same thing. Once the prices are down, immediately they are down. From here, look at it from here now. That is why it requires you to wait. You can't just be entering the market anyhow. You need to wait. Now let's see how we are moving from here. So far, this is how we are taking. This is how I'm taking my entry, and it has been working for me. I've been successful. I've never made a single trade, a lost trade, since I've been using this method. So I'm still moving to 1 minute, where I drew my line in 1 minute. That's what I'm looking for now. I'm sorry about this, because I just want to make the class so interactive so that we don't. Yeah, this is where I drew my line. Now, good. for me to take any trade from here, look at it from here. This is where 5 minutes is giving me an entry. Now, for me to have an adequate an entry that is more challenging, that is more robust, is for me to wait for my SSS to cross. Look at it from here. Immediately it crosses, they speak the same thing. There is going to be an heavy move. Immediately your 5 minutes, once the price have crossed down to a lower time frame, the stochastic has crossed down in a lower time frame, what you need to do now is for you to relate your stochastic in 5 minutes and 1 minute together, because your bigger time frame will remain engulfed. It has engulfed, and these are the drivers. The little time frame, that is the shorter time frame, are the drivers of a bigger time frame. Now, from here, now we have what I refer to. Look at it from here. This is a downtrend, and if you look at it from here, my stochastic is down from here. Are we seeing that? It's down. This stochastic is in agreement with what I have in my 5 minutes. Now, if you stay to the end of this presentation, to the end of this video, I wish you congratulations. I want you to go back, learn this thing. Forex trading is not an easy trading. It's not an easy business. It's a very tedious one, but you must have a system. In as much you have a system that is working for you, in as much you have a system that is profitable for you, very easily you'll be taking money out of the system. These are money. What you are seeing here is money. This is money. Each move of the candle is money. Now it is your responsibility to figure out where the money lies. So I wish you good luck in your trading, and I implore you to subscribe to this video so that when I release another video, you'll be the first person to know about it. So I wish you good luck in your trading.